And they're not the only ones. I've had ex-Mossad agents, I've had ex-Special Forces, ex-Navy, ex-SEALs, ex-Mexican Forces, ex-Ukraine, USA. Uja! All sorts of those creatures have sat down with me, and I've told all of them the same thing I always tell them. Yes, but if you smoke this with me even once, you're committing for life. This is one for life. Because it's legal in my hands, the first one is for life. And it's at the service of life. No excuses, no religion garbage, because the Psalms and the medicine that made it possible are older than written word. So let's not play that role. That's how I got Mexican sleeper agents to actually kneel in front of me at a Mayan train station.
Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, it's not good enough? Like perfect is the only standard, but you're still left feeling behind? Perfectionism keeps us stuck. It robs us of peace, of our joy, and the freedom to just be. That's why I created Beauty of Imperfection, Good is Enough, a guided workbook to help you let go of the pressure, quiet your inner critic, and start celebrating progress over perfection. Inside, you'll find tools that remind you your worth has never depended on being perfect. It's time to embrace the beauty of imperfection because good really is enough. Let me remind you, you are always worthy. You already are. Get your copy of my workbook today. Emotionally unavailable.
Good.
Well,
Trying to
welcome back. I have no idea what the hell we're talking about today. So I'm hoping you came with some good, because, I just show up. And you said, you want to talk again? I said, yeah. And then here we are. I got, I'm open. So,
awesome. Well,
wherever you want to take it is fine with me.
thank you for having me, Melissa. So it's been bananas. It's been like last time we spoke, I didn't even wear the nose, I think. Or did I? I don't remember.
You showed it to me. I know that. I don't know that
Yeah.
you ever put it on.
I wasn't because no. Today I am in official uh, business. I'm talking to you from my official church function, which is very funny because have you ever heard of a church where you get to wear a nose and smoke weed? It's
No,
it's
but I would expect
Mhm.
nothing less from you.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. What happened since last time we spoke? Well, no, I'll start from the beginning for those who are just puppies. Hi, my name is Andrew. Full name is very funny. Andrew Nicolas Barajas Nahuili, Mexican Jamaican. My mom is Jamaican. She died, but she was still Jamaican. When you die, you don't lose your nationality. So, um, that's a terrible tip. And so I've been involved in peace building work for over a decade in Mexico. And because I had been following my intuition and the calling of my spirit, I ended up in some very funny places, like the oldest cannabis farm in Mexico. And when you're talking about cannabis in Mexico, the oldest cannabis farm means there's people who died there, and there was However, the owner of that farm, because the Señor de los Cielos, that legendary drug lord, went to that farm to Tetecala and talked to Don Martin like 40 years ago and told him, you're going to plant weed here. And Don Martin was like, and with where the fuck am I going to get the people and the tools and the seeds and the fucking machine? And they're like, no, we'll get them for you. So he's got stories because he's owned the whole thing and he served, like he had to go through the thing and he's got stories. And we all agree when we sat down and smoked very high quality weed that chilling is the one thing that no one wants to do. I've sat down as um, in my function as a literally as a sage town as a professional nosy person to sit down with people, smoke weed, and listen to them. And what I've listened to people in alleyways. I've listened to drug lords. I've listened to gigantic businessmen who are worse than drug lords. And they all agree that killing is not the nice thing video games make it to be. Killing is not this satisfying experience where you level up. is this sticky, terrifying thing. And so I offered up my services and I told them, well, how about, hear me out, how about we smoke weed and we make sure no one dies, no one kills anyone, and we all make it from birth to old age. Because there's not a lot of that happening currently.
Yeah.
And they agreed. So I've been working for over 10 years, signing peace accords and just pushing for not pushing, but sitting down and agreeing on peace accords, so that I may help release some of the infinite tension that is currently pressed upon the native nations in the continent. Um, I live in Mexico. I am very in touch with what happens in Mexico. I have been blessed by the teaching of the greeting to the five directions in Mayan by the peninsula's current um, top uh, priest. There's one supreme witch, doctor, priest, healer, elder in the peninsula, Abuelo Aniceto, and so he instructed me on reading the five directions. I'm the only clown. I'm the only non-Mayan person to know this. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
Um, but this was given to me for good reason, so that I may walk and build peace because it's fucking urgent. And
Yeah.
so what happened is, in doing this, there's already people who will gift me weed and tobacco. And I grind that down and I make cigarettes and I give them out for free to people who need it, people who are in crisis. I educate on cannabis. I educate on legality, to dealers and those people who are in the medium who have been entangled in the illegality stuff. Because I have a church credential, uh, I can I can actually legalize their weed and actually certify it as church weed. Um,
To grow it, to sell it, to carry it, all of that?
yeah, I can provide protection for all of those. Um, Even from the start, the person going like, "Hey, the cop got me and I've got a huge bag," and I'm like, "Cool, hey, Mr. Cop, this guy was on his way to meeting me because he's about to donate this. So just let me know where you guys are and I'll go pick you guys up."
So
So
it is
there,
otherwise illegal there?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
only
I
is it
didn't
not
know.
not only is it legal, it is highly contested as a product. So it's not a thing that you cannot walk around. If you walk around Cancun with a bag of weed and you go like, "Hey, I'm selling this thing," and a salesman finds you, which in hotel zone is not too, it's immediately. They'll see you right away. They will take you to the boss, to their boss, and they'll explain to you all the things, and then you work for them.
Mm.
I don't,
Oh, okay.
because I have a church credential. I have a church ID. I am a church member of Native American Church of Carol Island. So they treat me, as well they should, as their witch doctor.
Like a medicine man.
Yeah, I'm their medicine man.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing with these guys is I offer cannabis walks. You can walk with me and smoke weed, and it's legal with me. And through doing that, they can donate weed to me. We make it legal, and then we use that. The donations of people, we're using that to turn on to ignite, to reignite a network of refugees called Casa de Medicina, which is a network for female survivors of male violence. Because
Oh,
because it's Mexico. Uh,
yeah.
it's Mexico, and it's not the Mexicans who do the worst. It's the tourism. Travelers with money are the ones who buy and sell the most, who buy the most of everything they can. And so what I'm doing is I'm offering cannabis walks as well as sacred medicine ceremonies with this sacred clown. You can hire me. You can come here to Cancun, or you can hire me anywhere. You can take me to wherever you are. But the thing is, these services are, I am one of very few people in whose hands weed, mushrooms, and all of those things are legal in Mexico. and not just legal, but approved by even cartels. Why? Because I'm the one fucking clown who will stand in front of a bunch of people who would otherwise shoot each other and light up a cigarette and tell them, remember your sacred dignity. You better fucking remember your sacred dignity because you didn't come here to kill each other. We came here to make it to the end together and to share in some.
Yeah.
The problem here, the challenge here is, and the reason why I reached out is the work that I do is I don't get paid for it. I do it how I find a way to do it. And donations help push this. Oof, but I suffer greatly for donations because most of the people who in Mexico have the possibility to donate have been conditioned to be terrified of weed.
Really?
I spoke to there's a man there's a my ex music teacher because I quit on him. I was like, no, you don't have social responsibility. I won't be your student. I won't collaborate with you if you don't have social responsibility. Because he's the most well known musician in the city for 40 years. The cartels know him to the extent that at a government party, the cartel representative in the peninsula greets him and tells him, "Hey, Mr. Music Teacher, whomever tries to do anything funny to you, you let me know and we destroy them. We annihilate all of them. You're
Wow.
meant to be a peace and perfectly happy." And that same fucking teacher, told me I can never support anything cannabis related because I'm a public figure. I'm like, bitch, you have been smoking weed for your entire fucking musical career. Your fucking musical career brought more drugs and rape and death to the Riviera than anyone in the history of this fucking city, including hoteliers, because you musicians are the ones who fill those hotels with people. So
Wow.
you not participating on this shit makes you a fucking accomplice. And I know you're my music teacher and you're the most important music person in the fucking peninsula. Guess what? My cause is bigger. That's what I said. And that's how I walk around. I walk around with knowing full well that I have been, this has been requested of me by the elders of Native Nations. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's a lot. So would you say then you are, I mean, I don't know. To me it's like the cannabis is just an element of what you're doing, but like you're sitting down or walking one on one with people trying to restore hope, faith, love, oneness, togetherness. I mean, is that fair?
Yeah. And it's funny how mad people get. Yeah, it's not 5 days ago. A guy got really angry at me in public and wanted to punch me. And I was like,
Why?
because I told him, in your hands it's illegal. In my hands it's legal. And he got
Oh,
so angry. He got so angry. But I'm like, you're the dealer, man. You're the dealer. And you're not getting it. You put one finger on me, and I'll tell your bosses will find out that you punched me. They're not gonna be happy that you punched me. I'm their sacred clown. I'm my sacred clown, but they're my sacred confessors. Like,
right, right, right.
the worst thing is they don't like. I wish they came and went like, "Oh, these are my horrible things that I've done, and here's $1 million." No, they just, you need help, man. Yeah, of course. Here's leave a tip, you asshole. It's the worst, man. It's the worst part. Having affluent clients that don't pay up.
Leave a tip, you asshole. Yeah, that really sucks because it seems like the people who could help really aren't at all. Why aren't they, do you think?
Because it means they have to realize that they have been incongruent for a long time. It means they would have to stop lying to themselves. Um, and of course, it becomes difficult because if you're, I'm gonna use the music teacher example because when you've been a well-known public figure for so long, you're friends with like Barry White, and all those Rolling Stones and all those guys. You're used to being this figure, and then one day this young dude who hasn't done any of those things comes up to you and tells you, "Hey man, you've been doing it wrong all these years." Funny you didn't know how because you were too privileged. It's your privilege that blinded you. But don't worry, you can learn a lot from us. He's like, we learn from you, but I've been smoking weed for longer than you were alive. You're still doing it wrong, Mr. Teacher. Why? Because there's still people dying from this. There's still a lot of violence going on, and this shit is supposed to be Irie, man. It's supposed to be the Jamaican good vibes. Watch you flex, nobody begs, and all the jazz. And that's the
Well,
most
and
fucking thing.
there are so many people benefiting at the top from its current system, just like here in America, where things don't shift until it affects somebody personally, and then they decide to get involved. But everyone at the top is the one that benefits from its current system. So you don't want to help affect change. Like the violence in Mexico is good for those people.
It's good for U.S. business. Yeah. However, what's really funny about this is that because I work with medicine, because I am oh, my new credentials, my new church credentials, I'll share the link with you. But it's an NFT. It's an unfalsifiable post-quantum cryptographically secure NFT. We
Wow.
are we have informatic security that goes beyond military capacity globally, just for
That's cool.
security, for data security. And the funny thing about this is most people who are like middle management and like pedestrians do not fully understand, and many of them are get really angry at me and they go like, "You shouldn't be smoking anything. You should just enjoy life and music and coffee and the Beatles." And I'm like, "The Beatles without drugs, Beatles don't exist."
Right?
You know, like
The Beatles. Oh my god. There's a reason half their songs were written about LSD.
Yellow
Well,
Submarine.
and the way I
Super
see
word.
it is sure you could do whatever without weed. You could, but um this is a sacred cultural practice, and it's the medium for which you are able to meet someone exactly where they are. Like, that's the thing that holds the two whoever's in front of you, it holds you 2 together on the same plane, even if it's just for 5 minutes in a conversation, and you're talking to sometimes some really dangerous people, you know? And so, this is the medium,
Yeah, exactly.
and then it's a sacred cultural practice.
And because I have a Jamaican mom, I do have the authority to Jamaicanly say, "No, man, that's not how you do this. No, man, do it like this." Now read something that challenges you because, well, my uncle Richard, the way he showed it to us, because my Uncle Richard never gave me weed, but Uncle Richard had weed at my grandmother's house in Kingston, and he would make these small cigarettes. He would make these spliffs, you know, and he'd say, "Yeah, man, I smoke the spliffs because good things in small packages, you know. If you need big, it means you're dumb. You don't need too much to go crazy, just a little to get smart." That's a very different perspective. Let's just watch some Netflix and
Yeah.
you know. And I sat down. I because of the level that my credentials give me, and because of great spirit. Because seriously, the magic, the real magic of real spirit, like actual sacred essence, following the pulse of sacred essence in life, will take you to sacred places with sacred people.
Mhm.
It just does. Anyone can just do it. You're like, I don't think it's sacred essence. I'm gonna trust you and walk around with. Hell, you could even just go like, fuck it, sacred essence. What the fuck do you have for me today? And that's enough. That's enough for you to just bring that up. But walking through this intuition and this whatnot, I have ended up like in Xcaret, hotel in Xcaret Park in Cancun, in Molde, Xcaret Hotel Mexico. Uh, I had a group of former IDF special forces ask for my help because they can't let go of the nightmares
Yeah.
simply because they escape what they've done. And they're not the only ones. I've had ex-Mossad agents, I've had ex-Special Forces, ex-Navy, ex-SEALs, ex-Mexican forces, ex-Ukraine, USA. Uja! All sorts of those creatures have sat down with me and requested to have a smoke. And I've told all of them the same thing I always tell them. Yes, but if you smoke this with me even once, you're committing for life. This is one for life. It's because it's legal in my hands. The first one is for life, and it's at the service of life. No excuses, no religion garbage, because the songs and the medicine that made it possible are older than written word. So
Mm-hmm.
let's not play that bullshit. That's how I got an ex-Mossad sleeper agent, well, a Mexican sleeper agent, to actually kneel in front of me at a Mayan train station. Um,
Wow.
Wow. Because I know what they go through, because a medicine man knows how to see the mind of the guy who's in front of you, because their minds are very weirdly arranged. But then again, that's not, and I do that because I know that if I infect these people become less dangerous to others. I know how dangerous they are if they're let loose. Like, there's nothing more that I can do other than go, right, let's see how much of your brain I can rewire in one cigarette.
Right. That is so real, first of all. Like, when you get somebody on a really zen level and they're able to access their subconscious and you're able to help through that, it can change a lot of things in a very short amount of time. But to your point, all of the harm in the world is coming from a person's fear and their fear in general, but also specifically their fear of scarcity. And so when you can meet someone where they are and understand even a little bit of where that came from, and you affect change in the one individual, that is the way to change the world, is one person at a time.
Yeah. One mighty pebble. One mighty pebble after one mighty pebble. The thing
Mhm.
is, most people underestimate the impact they can have in the world, so they don't even try. Most people just assume they're tiny and mortal. And one of the things that I've been talking to one of my ancestors, one of my eldest ancestors lately, because she had an extraordinary life. It's hot. She was a Babylonian slave. She was a slave to a. How familiar are you to Babylonian mythology? Not a lot. There's a
No,
goddess called.
listen, I had trauma brain in school, so I didn't pay an ounce of attention to shit. And then since then, I just, I've been in the school of life, so not a lot of history.
There's a. I have an ancestor, an old ancestor, one of the oldest ancestors, who was the slave of a Babylonian goddess. Um, and so I've been meditating a lot on the memories of those times, and communicating a lot with that intelligence, with that aspect of it. Because the state of the world, turns out, has been like this for a long time. Not just not just now, but for the longest time it just has been repeating and repeating. Way longer than history would have us know, because books and what.
Right.
Right. But during one of these meditations, actually, last night, I do this in an intermediate state between going, like, when you're about to when you're half awake, half asleep. When you're in that middle stage, you can talk to your parts and whatnot. So in that conversation, I was talking to Enuma, and she told me, well, Enuma Horamba would be the full name, and she told me, you shouldn't fear this empire, because it's a young empire. Don't be afraid. Is This empire is barely wanting to reach 1,000 something years, but its current representatives are very young and they don't really understand what empire means. So don't be afraid of them. Just realize that they're doing this for the first time, and they are even more bewildered and confused than most people give them credit for. And I was like, that's a very interesting perspective for a spirit who has seen time from outside. But then she made a very interesting observation where she told me, well, yeah, but I was made for 1,500 years. You've been alive for 40, so don't worry too much. Okay, so what the fuck do we do with this? Well, don't underestimate what you can do. And I was asking, well, how the fuck do I, send the question inward and then an answer comes up. Like, and how the fuck do I make this count? And the answer came up, the suggestion came up as stop thinking of yourself as mortal. You know mortality exists. Fine. But stop thinking of yourself and dreaming of yourself as mortal. See and dream eternity in front of you. And see yourself wielder of eternity. And walk around wielding eternity. At some point, mortality might find you. But that's not up to you. It's up to you to walk knowing that eternity is you walking. And that, for some reason, got me really angry in a good way. It sort of started a fire in me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the kind of work that I started it because I noticed the state of the world and I was like, shit. Well, I noticed the state of the world, and there's a point where if you kind of meditate because the screaming of souls leaving the body kind of let you meditate, then at some point you go like, who the fuck is doing this? Turns out there's people. Um, um, but less on my insanity and more on the practical applications. The practical applications of this are as I walk through the cities, I let people know that they are. I remind people what they really are, and it's not a Deepak Chopra workshop. It's not up for sale. It's not up for discussion. It's not up for faith. It's not up for, oh, I believe that maybe there's some sacred. Shut the fuck up, everyone. Sacred dignity, period.
Yeah.
Oh, but my religion is yours. You have a book and you're using it wrong. But
Yeah.
Jesus read more about Jesus. First, he hung out with a bunch of hookers, and I don't see any hot women around you. So, you know, um, because also when he was hanging out with them, he wasn't there to hey, can I see your boobs? Which
Right.
a whole bunch of very obvious methods. But the reason I do this is because I know that as I do this, I am hitting hitting directly the places where the city will kneel. One of the most, just last week, I went to the Institute for Arts and Culture to follow up on a theater play, and a play that I was like, hey, I spoke to the director and whatnot, and they said, yeah, this sounds wonderful. I, I've been going back and back and back for over a year. No dates available. No, no, we're very busy. We're very busy. And I was like, finally, one of the main representatives of culture in Cancun told me, well, the thing is that cannabis is a very difficult topic. We're not ready. So I just burst into the world. Fuck if you're ready. It's 2025. The fact that you fuckers aren't ready is why I exist. You don't need to be ready, fuckers. You need to pay attention to me. You need to listen to what I have to teach you about it. Because you haven't paid any attention to this shit for decades. Oh, well, yes, you're right. Of course I'm right. But the thing that I surmised from that, because I went to several government offices. Last week I walked around in all the government offices I had not visited. And they all gave me the same answer. So it all boiled down to basically, yes, the credential, my membership to Native American Church of Turtle Island gives me 2 years. This current issuing is 2 years long. At the end of which, of course, I'll continue doing the work of be married. But it all boils down to basically, Andrew, you do the thing. You've got the credential, but you've got to do it and figure out the way to get it to work so that you can make the thing work. So I've set up a list of folders. And I have a bunch of documents for 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 donations for people to look into the things that I'm doing and go and jump into the thing. You're like, all right, so I want to give you my dirty money so you turn it into holy money. What the fuck are you up to? And the reason I'm asking for donations in English is because donations in Spanish come in pesos. And listen, I appreciate them very much. However, 5 donations of 100 pesos, that's 300 pesos. $14.30.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very little. Um, but and so the requesting donations in English, what will allow is, well, for conversions rate to benefit us mostly, and also it will allow me to extend the work that I'm already doing. And here, some people might go, yeah, but I'm gonna just throw money at this guy and what? No, 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 you're throwing money at the sacred clown in Cancun. You'll toss your money at me, you'll give me your data, and then if you show up here or anyone you know shows up here, they'll have my data and you'll go, hey man, remember that we sponsored shit? And I'll go like, yeah. And I'm gonna walk with you around, I'm gonna point a place and go like, hey, this and that and this and that. I'm gonna put a bunch of things in their hands. I'm gonna show them this book so that you know this is a manual for cannabis as medicine. This is a medical instrument. This is not Wikipedia garbage. This is, oh, it's legal, yes, because it's legal in our hands and medicine and sacred medicine and all the things together. And we've got wishes and we've got many things. Oh,
Wow.
wow.
That's cool.
And it's funny because the wishes that came up are: te deseo que hoy alguien te escuche, te deseo que hoy escuches a alguien. 15 and 16. I wish for you to listen to someone, and I wish for you to listen to someone today. Very, very, very on time,
I love the illustrations.
right? The the idea of this book is that you'll paint it, that you'll make it yours. You know, you'll as you get as you go through the wishes, you will
I
make them
love
yours.
it.
And then when you share them with people, they get the compound interest of good wishes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the book, I have all sorts of things and services that I can offer and whatnot. However, the request for donations has become the thing where I can say sincerely, if I don't need a lot of people from non-Mexican currencies to donate, to be able to make a big difference that will allow me to kickstart the thing where I don't have to ask for donations anymore. But it's oh, the kickstarting of the thing has been hard because the first four the first four centers that were setting up, basically the volunteers took everything. They took everything they could. Because they were like, hey, it's free. And I'm like, no, it's not free like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone rang the bell. I need just give me 5 seconds. Just
Okay.
5 seconds. Please, I'll be right.
All good?
All good? Yes. Okay. Um. So yeah.
So let me summarize this then.
Right. This
If
said,
somebody donates,
donate
damn this echo.
this echo.
If somebody donates,
Somebody donates
then what they're
and what
donating
they
is
donating
you
you
meeting one on one,
one on
yes, with
one,
cannabis
that's
or whatever else,
whatever else,
but one on one,
one on
like
one,
it's true
like a
missionary work. You're
missionary work.
sitting with
You're
people
sitting
and you're hearing their
with your hearing
stories
their stories
and
and
you're teaching them how to return
to
home to
return home
themselves
to themselves
and to ripple out that
and to have
effect.
that effect. Yep. And I'm assembling a caravan of colleagues. Um,
That's awesome.
that will, there's currently two of us, sacred clowns, with
Wow.
names and all. Well, one is this guy, and the other one, his name is Dr. Bell. And what he does is he's got a show that's called the the horrible hell of drugs or something like that. I don't remember the name because I just learned about it like recently. But it's a show where he goes through several drugs. Like the clown will show you like you guys, he shows the entire thing. Like he shows how it's done, how the thing happens, what it does to the thing. And he of course teaches you like um and the thing is, all of us educators who deal with sacred medicine and drugs, most people are afraid of it. because they don't know about
Yeah.
it. So, yeah. The donation what the donation does is it allows me to ignite two things: Casa de Medicina and El Salón del Futuro. El Salón del Futuro is the called the Classroom of the Future, is a training environment where we apply cognitive optimization. Yes, you smoke, but also you do exercises that make you go, wow, that feels different, and like, yeah. The donation helps us multiply the good effect of what I do, and it allows me to equip yeah, equip team members so they can both spread the word and reach not just people but institutions as well. Right now there's a thing that I'm working on for. I mentioned it earlier at the beginning. I'm working for it's a proposal for the tourism board of the state, Quintana Roo. But I'm also assembling a letter for the owner of Grupo Xcaret because a lawsuit fell on him from the Mayan people because of cultural appropriation, of course. And since I am Mayan Council approved, I am his best uh, chance at sitting down with someone and actually finding a way to actually solve the whole thing. Of course, it's not going to be the way he wants to because he's got a multi-billion-dollar park, but there's more Mayan people than parks. So,
Yeah.
but in, like all of these kinds of things, the donations are used for both tools, instruments, advancing the thing, and also mobility, being able to actually go to the places where I'm needed. There's places in Bacalar, for example, where there's an entire orchestra and a bunch of other people there who are defending water. There's a microbiologist, an astrophysicist talking to stromatolites. It's like groundbreaking research. And wow, because I work by via donations, I I don't have an income reliable to go. Oh yeah, I'll pitch you on this and that thing. You know. So in the receiving end, I make sure to generate all the evidence of hey, you donated. Here's the evidence of all the things that we're doing first and foremost, which is what I always do via TikTok and all this.
Yeah.
But also once they do, we are in touch now. They have officially sponsored Enumari Shayari. And Enumari Shayari is an officially recognized native tribe, and that is important because this tribe has a league of sanctuaries. Enumari Shayari, we are I am the current holder. I have the current guardianship of the League of Peace Sanctuaries of Mexico.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's not mine, it's not my land because it's not to sell, but there's a bunch of people who bought land and whatnot, and then they signed up onto a list for saying, hey, we want sanctuaries. And then I was like, that is great that you guys all did this thing. This is how we do this right. And so I'm the main guardian of the thing. Um, in me being able to travel to those different cities, I can activate the different centers with the expertise, know-how, and technologies that I have and carry around for El Salón del Futuro, which it includes the book, it includes the cards, remember the cards?
Yeah, I was wondering is it beyond the prototype stage yet?
Geez. Yeah, because we, we went from product to trying to get to market, like, oh, where does this go? Oh, it goes above government. Okay. Like, I was looking literally for the application. Like, what's the most useful application? The most useful application is for the rehab of affluent people. So it's not cheap, but it takes them a while to get there. It's one of the things, for example, for Grupo Xcaret, the owner and all his directors and whatnot. One of the things that I'm going to sit them down and do is this: like, you guys need to really to rearrange the whole thing. Um, but in the meantime, while I'm working, walking through places. It's one of the instruments that I use. You know, uh, it's
Yeah, I wondered if you were still using them.
yes, it's there. I made it. It's just
Yeah, I love it.
sometimes I'm like I haven't used it in a while. I should be using it because I don't use it. Then who's fuck gonna use it? But yeah, I use it constantly for figuring out things, for pausing and rearranging and refocus. Um, I actually intend, not intend, but part of the things that I'm doing is um, I'm assembling the kits for. It's not they're not expensive, but the thing is, it's not expensive, but it takes a bit to set up. But a full a full kit takes it's 2 decks. It's two of these in one box. There's two books, two sacred manual books, and there's one card, the one Elma card, which has it contains the entire protocol for the introspective questions.
Yeah.
It's a 5 question model that allows you to review yourself in like thousands of ways. Um, and this goes with a tiny bag of weed, with a tiny bag of tobacco, and a tiny bag of different kernels, depending on the what we have on season, so that you can mix them and have a mixed cigarette that will give you instead of doing this, well, going high and then just blacking out. It will lift you like weed does. It will focus you like nicotine does, but it will also amplify the effects of both and dilute the addictiveness of both. For example, by adding Rosa de Castilla, which lowers the temperature and makes it done better. Blue Lotus, which helps sleep and imagination. Amanita muscaria, which helps for childhood trauma. It's a whole thing. Um, so these kits are for people they're sent out like that, or they're given or delivered like that. But the goal of these kits is to set up several of these for the different schools and remote locations across the peninsula first, here, but then spread it out from here to the rest of the continent.
That's really cool. So tell us where we can find you and like to be able to donate.
So you can find me on PayPal. My the email address by which you can find me is number 8. Oh, it's ocho palitos y bolitas at Gmail, which is 8, and then a whole bunch of words. Palitos y bolitas altogether. We'll have it for you guys. But it's like 8 sticks and balls at Gmail.
Well, just make sure you send it to me so that I can include it in the show notes.
Yeah, there's PayPal ocho palitos y bolitas.com. We can also share the bank. I can also share the bank information with you. It's all transparent. Whoever sends a donation, uh, they can send a donation and then demand that I give them it. Give me evidence of what you're doing. And we're like, yes, sir, with or without the note. But yes, because these donations they become part of the evidence of the work that I do.
Yeah.
Mm. And so it's a funny thing because once sponsored, you can rely on us for life.
Yeah.
Because we're a legally recognized tribe, which is legally recognized as sacred carriers of protected ministry. So if you're traveling,
But even more than that, you're helping to affect change in a very torn country.
yes, because we're working directly with the native nations, and the native nations are the most affected always. Always. While Mark Zuckerberg is asking AI to give him new prompts to look like a robot or some shit, look like some on-site piece of cheese. Um, native nations are the ones sustaining the life of all the cities, all
Mm-hmm.
agriculture, all the fabric, all of the base material for all of the things come from native communities. And in Mexico, it's super, super, super marked. The Mayans are one of the poorest communities in the country. However, they're right next to the hotels. What are the richest regions in the country? Why? Because the hotels grab everything. They grab everything. They they got everything. They fuck all the kids they can. They buy and sell all the children they can because it's something that they do. Um, and then they say, "Oh, pero vivimos en el paraíso. We live in paradise." No, you don't, you assholes. We live in a hell created by you guys. We know paradise, and we're bringing it back, and we're bringing it with all the way of the law because it had to be done somehow. But that's something I do as well because my credential, my membership is ratified and recognized by the United Nations and in global government. I walk around wielding that excess power. You know,
Yeah.
I'm still a citizen. I'm still a person with an alias. I don't have anyone listing as a company. But I know full well how that power is wielded because my mother was director of special projects for UNICEF Latin America. She spoke 6 languages. I still died when I was 4, but I still count. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean by that is I was raised surrounded by diplomatic level people. I know how power is wielded. I know how it is identified. And I know how it is used to save lives. That's what it's for. Power is la nobleza obliga. If you have power and you're not using it for those who don't have it, you're a waste of time. Plain and simple. So
Absolutely.
that's how and why I do it. I do it in Spanish. I do it in English, and I do it with all the native languages that I've been taught. I sing in Seri. I sing in Lakota. I sing in Maya. I sing in Nahuatl. I sing in Gaelic. I sing in Maori.
That's cool.
So we may never forget. And so we may properly restore because it's a whole thing, man. But we all have roots. They're just muddled. The
Mhm.
majority of our roots is muddled. But we all have roots. And at the roots, we all prefer to sit down with nice music and enjoy each other's company. Always.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I
Um,
love the work you're doing. You know that. Okay, I appreciate you being here today. I'm sorry, I'm turning my volume down for a sec. I'm having such terrible feedback. But okay, so make sure you send me stuff for the show notes. I'm gonna go ahead and press stop recording, but I love you and I'm so glad you've been here and I hope that we can get you some donations.
all success. Thank you so much, Marisa. And thank you so much, people.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share. Emotionally Unavailable.